So, think you've got better at managing your own time, but there's still loads of people around you who keep sucking that time away from you? Well, here's a few tips on how to avoid the time wasters and get better results from your team. Hi, I'm Rupert, Action Coach Business Coaching, Perth and Kinross in Scotland. So today we're going to look at a bit more about time, and particularly how much do you value your time? And how well are you at controlling the team around you and helping them to respect your time? So the first thing I want you to do is think about actually how valuable is your time? Quick way of doing this, if you know what the salary is that you're taking or would like to be taking, divide it by 1760. It's the rough hours, 8 hours a day, 220 working days a year. That'll give you an hourly rate. Now I want you to be really honest. How productive are you? So if about 3/4 of your time you're productive, then that hourly rate, £28.41, comes down to £21 and a few pennies. So every hour you need to be generating at least that amount to be valuable. So how well are you treating your time as valuable? When you're closing that sale, and that real problem for some salespeople, they're closing a sale, they spend hours warming up the prospect, and it takes them so long that they've used far more time than they're going to get back from that sale. So if that sale's that hard, wouldn't it be better to give it to a competitor? Then they're the ones who are going into the red on their time use. So that's maybe slightly flippant, but it's all about making sure you really value your time. And the two key things that I want you to be thinking about is you need to surround yourself with people who not only work hard for you, but also really respect and value their time, and particularly yours. So they know that it's all about keeping your time protected. And the second thing is you've got to eliminate the tasks that aren't really working at the value that you're taking. So make sure you either eliminate or delegate them, but you're effective at keeping them out of consuming your time. So, time wasters. We've all got them, they all appear. They're probably going to fall into one of the four most common categories. There'll be a few others out there. So the first time waster we've got is that, do you have a minute? You know, you're sitting there at your desk, you're really engrossed in something, and here they come again. Have you got a minute? Can you just... Best thing to do with people like this is absolutely be great to help you. Come back at the end of the day and we'll work through it. Get them into the habit of this is an end of the day job, and they'll start to prioritise whether they really want it to be an end of the day job or whether they really need it. Now, of course, there will be times when absolutely you want to be there for your team. These are the people who do it regularly. So if you've got someone who's that, do you have a minute? And they're doing it regularly, just start moving them to a time that's less convenient for them, and then they'll start prioritising it for themselves. Second one I want to talk about is Mr. Meeting. They love meetings, makes them feel busy. They go from meeting to meeting to meeting, and they never really quite understand how important they are. They've not really worked out what they're trying to achieve. Great thing here is let's just get them to evaluate how important that meeting is. Get them to do the work, get them to give you a grade out of 10 for how important it is to have that meeting, what the topics are, how important is that topic. Is it a 6 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10? And you get involved in the 9 and 10 out of 10s. The rest of them, they should be able to sort themselves. And once they start getting the message that you're in the 9 and 10 out of 10 box, all of a sudden, you may not get sucked into quite so many meetings. Third one we've got, Mrs. Trivia. So, you know the question, they're never quite sure which is the important issue. Big issues, small issues, important ones, unimportant ones, they all come out. And you thought you were there talking about the strategy of the company, and we end up talking about the temperature of the kitchen. Just how important is it? Yep, sure we can deal with that outside. The important issue we're here to talk to today is, so always bring it back to the big important stuff. Important stuff, the stuff that's going to have an action that's really going to affect your quarterly goals. Okay, so Mrs. Trivia, on to number 4. That's the emotional crisis. Yep, you thought you were going into a nice, calm planning meeting, and somehow we've got this massive drama breaking out. Is it really a drama? Sometimes, but probably most of the time, it's all about just enjoying the moment of drama and, the world's about to fall in. Again, good dose of reality. Let's just bring it back, calm it down. What are the facts? Really logical stuff. Maybe it's not quite such a crisis after all. Back to the real business in hand. So those are your 4 key common time wasters. What can you do about it? Well, how about delegation? Big thing I want you to remember here is we need to be delegating. What we're not doing is abdicating our responsibility. We're about delegating. It's still our responsibility to do it, but it's all about getting somebody else to do the work. Get them to take the responsibility for completing it, but keeping us in the loop. So what are the steps to successful delegation? Well, the first thing is you've got to define the problem. What is it you want somebody to do for you? Be clear. And then, step number 2, check they've understood what you want them to do. So you thought you'd been clear, had you? Communication's the response we receive, so just because you thought you were clear, just check you were. Because the worst thing that can happen is you think you've given a task away, you think you've got someone really clear on what they're doing, they have no idea, and they spend the time worrying about it, and they know you're busy, so they don't want to come back and interrupt and ask, and the task doesn't get done. So give them the task, check the understanding, and then check that they know why. Why are they doing it? And when you've got them clear on why they're doing it, do they know how to do it? So some of the time, absolutely, you've got the team member, they already know how to do it. Just get them to tell you how they're going to do it. That's about checking the understanding again. If they don't know, we're on to teach them. I always like to think of EDIP, EDIP. Explain it, demonstrate it, get them to imitate you, and then they can go away and practice and do it for themselves. So 4 simple steps: explain, demonstrate, imitate, practice, and then check the understanding. So all about making sure they know what they're doing. And then the final 2 steps, you need to set them a deadline, you need to know when you want this to be done, and then the critical piece, and this is the bit that so often gets lost, for it to be effective delegation, you need to make sure that they give you some agreements. You need to get that agreement from them. They need to agree to that deadline, because once they've taken the ownership of it and they've got the deadline, they know when you expect them to report back to you. And you do expect them to report back to you, because when along the way you may want to take the temperature, you don't want to be micromanaging them, but interested along the way. And I certainly used to say to people, I don't want to be looking over your shoulder the whole time. Come and tell me how you're getting on. Then you're in control of when you tell me. I just need to have an understanding of what's going on. So just keep me in the loop. And at the end, you know when the deadline is, they agreed to it, they come back, they hand the piece of work back, finished. Effective delegation. So we got rid of our time wasters, we've delegated some work, got some more of your time back. How's it feeling? Let us know, pop it in the comments box below, and let us know what else you'd like to hear. It's Rupert Hine, Action Coach Business Coaching from Perth and Kinross in Scotland.